Hi guys. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. And the first thing that I want to do is point out the obvious. I am not your average 19-year-old. And in the next few minutes, what I hope is not to motivate you. You don't need any more of that. What I hope is to empower you to feel 10 feet tall, to step into your truth, to own who you truly are, and change your world. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. If this wants to work, there we go. So I am a final height of 3'9". This is the size that I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And the reason that is because I have a very rare form of dwarfism. It's called Trophic dysplasia. And what I mean by rare, there are less than 100 cases reported in medical history. So when you think about that statistic and the amount of people that must be recorded in medical books, to be one of 100, it obviously comes with a life of uncertainty. And what I've realized in my life is that you don't need to have some rare medical condition to experience uncertainty, because you're experiencing it every single day. Think about it. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know what the weather is going to be in a year. We just don't know things, and we don't have control. But that doesn't mean that we should take a step back and let life just happen in front of us. So, growing up, I wasn't always this full of wisdom. This was me when I was 8 years old. To be honest with you, I was a pretty happy kid. I didn't have much going on in terms of much pain or adversity, and life was fine. I dealt with surgeries here and there. This one was when I had to have not only a double leg cast for 3 months, but there was a bar connecting my two legs, which means that my hips were like locked in that one position the entire time for 3 months, when the surgery broke my bones and put metal pins and hardware in to try and strengthen them. That worked a little bit, maybe. A little crooked, but that's okay. And for the first 15 years of my life, I honestly felt invisible. Even though I'm the center of attention literally wherever I go, because when you're this tall, dark, and handsome, I mean, how can you not be? But I felt invisible, and what truly turned that around was this. I want to start off with a quote. The two most important days of your life are the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. And this right here was the day that I found out why. I literally can say that this was the start of the rest of my life. And the way that this story happened wasn't by just waiting on the universe to plop an opportunity in front of me. It was just living life and being open to things and open to conversations. And that's exactly the mindset that I had. I was in the airport with my family riding that device that you see behind me, which is this really epic bright yellow Segway that obviously you don't really see every day, so it draws a lot of attention. People are really inquisitive. And a woman came up to me in the airport, and she started asking me all these questions. What is this device? What do you use it for? What's your name? What's your story? And she ended up being on my flight, so we talked for over 45 minutes. And I told her a little bit about my story. She told me a little bit about hers. And when she did, she said, I'm one of the original organizers of TEDx. And if you're not familiar with TEDx, it's that TED, global platform that's been seen by over 1 billion people all around the world. And I was lucky enough at 15 to give a TED Talk. And what it taught me was a couple different things. Number one was my purpose. And I am one of very, very few who discovers the meaning of their life very early on. And I don't have the answer to how to discover your purpose and how to find your meaning. I think that's life's ultimate question. That's what we're all trying to discover. And for me, I also discovered the power of being authentic and the power of being Brandon. Not hiding behind a mask, not acting like I was immune to all of the words that people would say to me every single day, but I was just me. And from that moment on, my life became one of fulfillment, but I wish that I could say it was complete smooth sailing from there. Of course it wasn't. So from that point, when I was 15, that also started a battle of very severe cyberbullying. And it went from the first week of my freshman year saying, haha, look at the ugly midget on the Segway, to death threats. And then another death threat. And it got to the point where it was just consuming every part of me. And it was filling me up with the worst negativity, the worst cloud over my head. And I think we all can relate to being stuck in situations where we feel like we can't get out. But I did get out, and I discovered this. Innovate your own solution. What that means is you are the one seeking out the answers to what works for you in your life. You're not letting anybody else dictate the experience that you're going to have, because you make a choice every single day to be in the driver's seat of your own life. And all of us need to understand this, no matter if we're 12 or if we're 77. The more and more that we can be deliberate about the life that we're truly living and whose life it is, not what other people are telling us to do, not by what we think the social norms are, but by our hearts, our true selves. And when you're able to step into that person and say, you know what, yes, life is hard, and I'm gonna go through things that I wish I didn't have to go through. This is the universal human connection. We are all suffering in some way. We all have something going on with us. And isn't it about time that we opened up about it? And that when we're not feeling okay, we say, no, I'm not okay. We live in a society where we're constantly connected on social media. And I loved what the rabbi said before. Social media, we think, is connecting us. But my friends, let me tell you, the more and more that we are consumed by the screen in front of us, we're getting sucked in to a totally different person. And I'm talking especially to the teens in the room right now. I'm not trying to sound like a dad when I say this, but trust me, you have to realize there is more going on than the little box that you see with people filtering their highlights on Instagram, with you only seeing the good parts. What are the struggles? People aren't posting that. Nobody's really posting that they had a terrible day and they're feeling horrible about themselves and they feel ugly and worthless. No, we're going to post a throwback picture of a really good sandwich that we ate last week. And we're living somebody else's life. But if you could understand that innovating your own solution is about helping others find theirs, I think this is one of the greatest keys to life. Because the secret to living is giving, as Tony Robbins says. And every single person in this room can relate to that. The Friendship Circle is an organization that every single person that is a part of it, no matter how big or small their role may be, they're filled up. They know how much of an impact it's making on somebody else's life, no matter what their actions are. And when you're able to live a life like that, you're truly unstoppable. Sorry that my remote is being very temperamental. So, I got this opportunity from a woman in an airport who I ended up meeting, this was the woman that came up to me when you saw me on that Segway. And she was all of a sudden saying, I might have an opportunity for you to give a TEDx talk. So it was literally one stranger from one conversation in one moment that changed the trajectory of my life. And I have so many moments like that I'm now aware of, and I bet you do too, if you really think about it. What were those defining moments in your life? Those things that you can look back to that somehow transformed the way that you think, or the way that you feel, or the way that you see the world. That's how we change the world, and that's how we change ourselves, by shifting our own perspectives. And sometimes we get so caught up in all of the overcomplications of life, of living in a society that is so hyper-connected. It's making all of us so lonely. But what if we could make a conscious choice every day to do at least one thing for somebody else that would somehow make their day a little bit better? So what does that mean? It means sending a text to a friend that you know isn't feeling well, saying, hey, just checking in, how are you feeling? I'm thinking about you. Or it's waving to somebody as you're walking by them in the hallway of the grocery store. Guys, something that small that we think, oh, nobody's going to think about that. They didn't notice that I smiled or that I waved. Those things mean everything to the person on the receiving end. So, something that I want you to think about. How do you think the world would change if we all just somehow made that decision every single day, and we actually did it? It's a domino effect, where our one simple action goes on to another person, and then that kindness spreads, and it spreads some more and some more. And by the time that we know it, our one thing is multiplied into many more. And so not only can you completely change somebody's life with that, but you could also tear their life down. And what I discovered was how helpless one feels when you are on the receiving end of a constant barrage of notifications on your phone, of the worst words that you can imagine getting. And you feel like life is ending. You can't see past that point. And so to every single person in this room right now, whether you're on social media or whether you're not, here's the reality of life. We are 100% responsible for the energy and the actions that we put out every day. And there is no excuse that any of us could try and make that would say that we're not. That is the cold, hard truth. And if we could realize that, and if we could live a life where we decided to focus on what truly mattered to us, to do the things that we knew would be best for us, this world would be such a more kind and love and joy-filled place. And that's what we all want. So if we want to change the world, let's freaking start. Because it's not changing itself. And by being in organizations like Friendship Circle, and by doing what you know is right for others, you are transforming lives. And maybe you realize that, or maybe you didn't. But our actions really do matter. Our words really do have an impact on people. And we can't let our own despair or our own sadness or anger tear somebody else's wall down. We shouldn't have that control. But yet so many people are abusing a vehicle like social media that can just completely make somebody's life crumple. I'm talking about changing the world, and that's a very large topic, but you really don't need to change everything for everything to change. Oh. No. This is not it. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. It's truly the small things that we can do that are the needle movers in life. And here's what I mean by that. So let's say that you are somebody that's constantly late for either school or for work. Well, how would we change that? Well, you would wake up maybe 5 or 10 minutes earlier every single day, and that one little change would have a huge effect. And you didn't have to change and redo all the other aspects of your life. You just had to try something different. You had to tweak something. And that's how we get different results. If we want to feel better, if we want to experience something different, we have to do something that we haven't done. We can't experience something new if we're doing everything that's old, everything that we've been doing. My challenge to you, one of my challenges to you, is to step outside of that place that is your comfort zone. That place where life, it's comfortable because you don't open yourself up, you're not vulnerable, you don't take risks, and you're missing out. You're missing out on some of the most extraordinary things, some of the most amazing relationships that you could have with people. Step out of that. Challenge yourself that yes, even if you have a horrible day, even if people were so mean to you, so rude to you that day, you don't let that take over what truly matters, which is your energy, your time, and what you truly do. So what I want you to think about, when we are in a situation or we're in a place in life that we feel like we can't get out of, or we're stuck in and the walls are caving in, sometimes all that it takes to get out of your own way is opening your eyes just a little bit, is realizing that you are not alone. Every single person is in pain, is dealing with something, is figuring life out, no matter what age, no matter what ailments we have. It's not so easy to just make a choice and say, oh, I'm going to be happy today, la, 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 la. It's not that easy, but it's also not that complicated. And I'm somebody that has completely changed my own life. I got out of the victim mentality that I was so stuck in, where I felt like I was such an outcast. I would never find anybody that would love me. I would never experience anything good. I tore myself down so much because I was the victim. And then I decided to use my story, to use what I've been given, to be a catalyst for change in the lives of others. And it started with giving one speech, and it turned into getting laws passed that now help the victims of bullying and harassment get a little bit more support. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And what I realized with getting these results in my life, that there's literally no reason why I should be unhappy. There is no excuse to why we need to let ourselves be in despair, in anxiety, in that depression zone. If you understand that happiness is a choice, and based on what comes into your life, what you filter in and out, aka what you focus on, that's going to determine exactly how you feel. Where your focus goes is exactly where your energy flows. And it's completely up to you what power you give these things. Whether it's a post on Facebook that really ticks you off for whatever reason, or it's somebody behind you honking their horn. Think about how much time that we waste, right? Staying stuck in these stupid places. But guys, nobody has to step in front of you and handle your life for you. You have been the one every single day, no matter what obstacle, no matter what adversity, it's been you that's overcome that. Maybe you've never thought about that before. Maybe you haven't thought, holy cow, look what I went through. Look what got me here. Whether you have scars physically, emotionally, or mentally, you are somebody that is full of perseverance, of courage, of all of these things that make us us. And my question to you, are you tapping into those things that you are so lucky to be given? All of those traits and qualities and weird things and unique things that make you you. I hope you realize how truly lucky you are. There are people that would do anything to experience the life that you live. Why are we complaining? Why are we letting negativity drive our life? Change happens when we do something, when we take action. And nobody's going to step in front of you and handle life for you. I mentioned where focus goes, energy flows. And this was something that I discovered when I was at that point of being in the victim mentality after being so berated at my high school with the cyberbullying and just feeling like I was worthless, even though I had accomplishments, I had good things going for me. And my definition of myself was nothing positive. And then I started realizing, holy cow, wait, most people can't really think of positive adjectives, positive ways to describe themselves. And that makes me really sad, because that is completely a decision on us. I almost just fell, did you see that? It is completely a decision on us. If you are letting negativity and stress and other people's garbage consume you by spending hours a day scrolling on Facebook or scrolling on Instagram, or just not living life, what's the point? When I was at my lowest point in life, I was 11, and I had a day where I don't remember anything that bad happening, but I came home from school and I just was done. I didn't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to have to go through the things that came my way, and I thought that this would be the rest of my life. Being in pain and being stared at and being bullied. But then I started to see the greatness within myself. I started to focus on the messages that I get every single day from people that say, "You are my hero, and because of you, I didn't kill myself. That's why I do what I do." I want to be the person that I needed when I was at my lowest point in life. And thank you. And I want to show you that it's not that hard to wake up every single day and feel so good about yourself and feel like you have a purpose and feel like you have a reason to get through that day. I know so many of us know what it's like to be in that place of not just victimhood, but just like the world is out to get us. And we don't need a superhero in our life to take control. So, if you didn't see that well, that was your friend up here jumping out of a plane at 14,000 feet on his 19th birthday. And here's why I decided to do that. I mean, isn't this the greatest metaphor to use in life? Like, I jumped out of a freaking plane, and I'm telling myself that I can't get an email sent, or that I can't fold my laundry, right? When we can take a step back and see the things that we're saying and that we're thinking, who's up here? Who's in here? You can make space for, I'm going to call it the transformation. And what I mean by that is the new results in life, the new things that you're going to be thinking of, or that you're going to be feeling or experiencing. And to be your biggest hero is to be the person that you know you need to be. I'm not trying to sound like life is all of these inspirational ways of thinking, and we think positively and then we're going to live a positive life. That's not how it works. But I just question, and I want you to question, when I wake up, what do I truly want to get done today? What am I actually going to do? And you can be honest with yourself, because nobody else is listening. If you're going to spend 6 hours watching YouTube, okay, tell yourself you're going to spend 6 hours watching YouTube. If you can decide this day, I don't know what it's going to bring. I don't know how other people are going to treat me. And the only thing that I do know is what I do. The only thing that I have control over is what I say, or what I do to other people. We are superheroes. You are worthy. You are enough. And you are more than limitless. I hope you know that. I hope in your heart of hearts you know that. Because I don't think any of us would still be here if we weren't meant to be here. To have woken up day after day after day, year after year. We're obviously here for a reason. And you've come way too far to not live your greatest life. Starting literally right now. It's completely up to you what you focus on. And the reason I'm emphasizing that so much, I guarantee you, if you change your focus, if you stop prioritizing all of the negativity, all of the stress, and all of the anxiety that wants to take over, but instead you're focusing on the positive things, the things that are going right. In every situation, in every amount of darkness, there is always a glimmer of hope. There's always a glimmer of light. And sometimes we see that and we remember that, and sometimes we don't. But again, if we can remember, it's completely up to us how we want to feel. And despite how we get treated, what life throws at us, it doesn't influence. Because we filter out the insignificant people in our life that are taking over. What that means is maybe it's getting out of a friendship where it's constant bickering, it's constant fighting, or it's making up with a family member that you fought with and for years you haven't apologized. What are you going to do? And when does it start? When do the dreams happen? When do you allow yourself to actually go for the things that you want to go for? Our age is not an excuse. Our disability is not an excuse. No word or no trait or no anything is what defines the definition of ourselves. It is what we, in our mind, the most important voice that you hear, which is your own, what we're telling ourselves. You don't deserve to get beaten down anymore. You don't deserve to be so sad or to be so unmotivated. It can change in a heartbeat if you allow it to. If you make the decisions to do what truly is right, to what truly matters. And it's by giving back. It's by stepping into who we truly are, not hiding, not trying to act like somebody that we're not. And by being the change for other people every single day. Just like I mentioned, it could be something so small. And that could completely turn somebody's day, somebody's month, somebody's life around. And it's up to you. So, in closing out, I don't want to be your inspiration. I don't want to be what you think about when you think about overcoming obstacles. I want to be the person that you think about. The next time that you think you're not capable, the next time that your mind tells you you're not going to achieve it, or you're not good enough, or you're not worthy, because that's a lie. It's up to you every day. And I hope something that I said can not only be something that sticks with you, but that you can apply to your own life. You don't need more motivation. You just need to re-spark what's already inside of you. So guys, thank you so much. Honored. Thank you.